Hi YouTube again, this is Care Bear. Okay, so we just went over the announcement that I am pregnant and I am 33 and a half weeks along. I am due on Monday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. I've always delivered early, so I have a feeling I will probably not make it to my due date, but I'm not holding out hope that I go early. I'm gonna, this baby will come when he's ready, and we did find out that it is a boy, so we have a girl and a boy, and this is our tiebreaker boy. So um, it's gonna be interesting to add a little bit of crazy to the life that is already crazy. Anyway, so I am being treated as if gestational diabetic because I'm unable to take the 2-hour glucose tolerance test because I would just dump in an incredible fashion, and I declined to take it. So in order for them to feel secure about continuing to treat me and for me to be able to deliver at the hospital's birth center, which is just totally natural, I will be delivered by a midwife. If everything goes well, if everything is fine, if the baby doesn't gain too much weight, and if I'm still healthy, if nothing comes up, everything so far, as other than the gestational diabetes testing, everything else has been status quo, which is wonderful. So as long as I can continue to maintain that, I've had a couple of extra ultrasounds where they go in and they test they size the baby to see how big he is, because they want to make sure that he's going to be under 10 pounds. If he's over 10 pounds, then I have to deliver in the labor and delivery floor. I'm still using midwife, but I can't actually do it on the birth center floor, which is my preference because it's got an actual full bed, a tub that I can labor in, and that kind of stuff. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the weight gain that I have so far. It's about 24 pounds, which is still within the 25 to 30 that they have recommended that I gain during the pregnancy. And I'm really trying my hardest to make sure that I am not stressing about the weight gain, and that I am just really focusing on the health and wellness of myself and the child, because during my last pregnancy where we miscarried, it was such a big deal for me. I was really, really, really scared about gaining weight, and then it turned out that we lost the baby, and it was so insignificant. The idea of gaining weight was so insignificant that I went into a different idea this time, that it doesn't need to be something that I'm stressed about. So I have to check my blood I have to wake up in the morning, check my blood first thing for fasting to make sure that it's within 70 to 90, and then have breakfast. An hour after breakfast, I check my blood again. Make sure it's between 90 and 130. Then I have a snack, I have lunch, and then an hour after lunch, I check it, and then I have a snack, and then I have dinner, and then an hour after dinner I check it, and then I have to have a snack before I go to bed. So one of the things, they gave me this food guide. I'm sorry you guys, the videos can be backwards, but it's got at least I think it is for you from what I can tell. So it's got like my breakfast recommendations: no milk, 1 starch, no fruit, vegetables are okay, 1 to 2 proteins and 1 to 2 fats. So for example, I can have like a fried egg on toast with butter and cheese and bacon, but 1 piece of toast, and that's it, because that's going to be the one carb. Now they have like all these suggestions of like, okay, this is milk, and these are starches, and this is fruit and vegetables, these are sweets and things I'm not allowed to have. Free foods I can have as much of, proteins and fats. It's a wealth of information. It's wonderful. The one problem I have, first of all, when I get up in the morning, the first thing I want to do is have milk or some sort of like a protein shake or something. So it's such a change in me, in my mind, to go from high protein, making protein like the absolute priority, to it being something that's included in everything, but the focus is actually eliminating the majority of carbs, which I don't have a problem doing, but it's just like I can't have milk or fruit. I can't have fruit for any of my meal times, and I can have milk for my during lunch and dinner, and then during the snacks. Like, I don't know if I mentioned that. So then the snack is within 15 grams of carbs. So what I'm trying to do is stay within 15 grams of carbs for my breakfast, 15 for all of my snacks, and then 30 to 45 for lunch, 30 to 45 for dinner, and then I take that back for my evening snack before I go to bed. It's got to be within 30 grams. But like a milk is considered one of the starches. That's still, it's not considered a starch. I'm lying, because they're categorized differently. So I could have a glass of milk plus 2 starches and that kind of thing. It's a lot of food. It's kind of like, I found it's like the evening snack. I don't feel like having, you know, a banana and a glass of milk and cheese and crackers before I go to bed necessarily. But I notice that when I do make myself have something to eat, then I am able to see that the next morning numbers of my fasting number is much lower than if I don't, which is just, it's interesting to me to see how that all works. But it's very hard for me to limit my proteins. It's very hard for me not to focus on making proteins the most important thing, but making carbs, or limiting, like focusing on carbs. I mean, when I look at the information, like the nutritional information now, it's not about how much protein is in it, it's about how many carbs, and is that within my carb limit, and can I handle those carbs? It's also a lot of fats. Like, fats are fine. I can have, like for the breakfast, it can be like an English muffin with a fried egg and cheese and cream cheese and butter and bacon, and you know, it's like, that seems like so fatty and like unhealthy compared to what I was always thinking. You know, since my surgery, it's always been very, you know, much cleaner and not fats. It's been like, you know, chicken, baked chicken or whatever. And so to have like just, it's just a different idea, I suppose, of how to retrain your thought, you know, the thought process of how to do that. And I guess 4 years out, I guess I'm at a place where I don't need to necessarily worry so much about getting that protein in first, because I'm able to eat a smaller normal sized portion now. I still can't go to a buffet and get my money's worth. It's just ridiculous, and when I try, it's just a nightmare. I mean, I end up leaving the meal way sooner than everybody else and just going and laying in the car because I'm just like made myself sick over it. So it's definitely not fun to do that, but it's just not worth it. And so I think one of these days I'm going to try and see if I can't videotape myself dumping. Not that I want to dump on purpose, but when I can tell that I'm going to be dumping, when I feel like that I've had too much sugar, I've eaten too fast, then I'll see if I can't get my husband or somebody to videotape me, or just see if I can't videotape me, just so that I can show you guys, kind of, I can explain what's happening as it's going on. And because I remember when I was researching the surgery, I remember seeing a video of a woman who was like down on her living room floor, just writhing in pain and rolling around, and just like, I mean, she sounded like she was dying. And I've not experienced pain like it seemed like she was from dumping, but I have experienced feeling like I was going to die. I mean, the way the body reacts to too much food or too much sugar or whatever is pretty intense. So the other thing is that I'm trying to drink a lot of water in order to combat Braxton Hicks that I've been having for the last few weeks, which are just the body kind of practicing labor. It's the stomach contracting. They're not productive contractions, but they're just the tightening of the stomach muscles that feel like beginning parts of labor. So I've been having those for the last couple of weeks off and on. And one of the things that they said is to prevent that, you can drink, just pump your water, and to prevent cramping. I have a lot of leg cramps at night and stuff, but I find that the time that I'm most thirsty is at night, and if I drink as much as I want to at night, then I'm up every 45 minutes going pee, which is just annoying. So, especially when I'm so tired at this point in the final trimester and just a few more weeks to go. So I'm really kind of taking a lot of naps while the kids are in school and taking advantage of that and stuff. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. If you guys have questions about the pregnancy itself, there's been a lot of questions that I have. I mean, like a lot of uncertainty that I've noticed that the hospital has had about my about having the surgery, having had the surgery. I know that when I first went into my general practitioner, it was somebody I had seen. I had changed my medical group in order to be seen at the birth center, and so it was somebody new I went to see. I had to, my HMO, I have to go in to see my general practitioner, and then they have to do the pregnancy test, confirm I'm pregnant, and then put in the orders for me to be able to go be seen with an OBGYN. So when I went to see them and was very forthcoming with them about having had the surgery, wanting to be seen at the birth center and that kind of stuff, well then the doctor put in my record that it was something other than, I mean, it was a gastric bypass, but it wasn't Roux-en-Y, and I can't remember what the code was that she used, but and then she left the room after we talked for a long time, and then somebody else came in and said, you know, because of your age, I'm 36, I was actually 35 when I got pregnant, but I'm 36 now, but because of my high maternal age, and because I had the bypass 4 years ago, they were saying that they were going to be treating me as if I needed like the perinatal super high risk. I was not going to be able to birth at the birth center, and I had read online, I had gone online and researched what their requirements were. There was no age limit, you know, as long as you had a normal healthy pregnancy was fine. So you know, I was like, I kind of left the appointment thinking, it's weird that they would come at me with this like, no, you're not going to be able to have your birth at the birth center, even though they were not associated with the birth center at all. They weren't with the hospital. It was just a doctor's office that worked in conjunction, but not I mean that they it was still within the I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so I made my appointment. I contacted the birth center and verified with them that it would be okay. They checked with the head of the birth center, and they said that it was fine. But I just feel like that would have been really unfortunate had I not questioned it, had I not been my own healthcare advocate, that I would have just been like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm going to be considered high risk, when nothing about my pregnancy is high risk. The surgery has not affected my, you know, the ultimate state of my pregnancy is still as if it were, you know, before. The only thing that's affected is not being able to take the 2-hour glucose tolerance test. So, and that's fine. It's a small price to pay for me to check my blood sugars and stuff. So that's fine. I think that's everything. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm very open about the pregnancy, about the surgery prior to pregnancy, about comparing the previous pregnancies. You know, the difference between the last pregnancy that I miscarried and this one, having both been post-op. If you guys have questions about anything, please don't hesitate to ask. It gives me something to come back and make a video for instead of waiting 8 months. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we will talk to you soon. Alrighty, bye.